Welcome back to the discussion, Mission-Proven Commercial Capabilities Across Earth and Space, sponsored by Maxar on Federal News Network. My guests today are Tony Frazier, Executive Vice President for Global Field Operations at Maxar, Chris Schenk, Vice President for Civil and National Security Space at Maxar, and Mark Giaconia, Senior Director of Analytics Engineering at Maxar. I'm your moderator, John Gilroy. Going to turn the camera to Chris now. Chris, can you give me an overview of some of the space programs that Maxar is working on today?
Yeah, John. So Maxar's legacy, first off, is the DNA that Tony discussed is 60-year legacy, where we've built over 280 satellites with over 2,200 years of operational on-orbit experience. Now that's been primarily for commercial satellite communications, high bandwidth, broadband communications for users, but also too for the U.S. government, Department of Defense, as well as NASA. Currently today, we have over 90 satellites on orbit. That is more than any that we have built, that Maxar's built in our legacy. Those 90 satellites are more than any other company has built, right now. One of the things we're building right now, working on, is the Restore-L mission. We're working closely with the folks at NASA Goddard Space Flight Center up in Greenbelt, Maryland, as well as the West Virginia Robotics Technology Center. What we're doing is building a service station and refueling capability for a currently on-orbit NASA satellite. And so we'll be launching that in the next couple of years. The next thing we're also doing, as Tony mentioned, with the NASA's Artemis program to return to the moon, return men to the moon and the first woman by 2024. We're building the first element, which is the power and propulsion element. And that's building off of the legacy work that we've done with electric propulsion. 30 out of the 90 satellites currently on orbit today that we've built have electric propulsion capabilities on it. And so we're spinning in that technology capability to then go orbit around the moon as a gateway for that future Artemis landing. And we're working with the NASA team on that.
Chris, if I'm 23 years old and listening to this, NASA, robots, Mars, you're the guy I want to send my resume to, huh? I mean, this is what everyone wants to get involved with. This is a lot of fun, isn't it?
Yes, please return my LinkedIn request for that. And that's one of the reasons I came to Maxar after 25 years in government, is because of, as Mark discussed, the mission focus that we share with the people. So it was an easy transition for me after 25 years in the Air Force and civilian government to join the team at Maxar, because this is where we're building new capabilities for our DoD customers as well as our NASA customers, as well as I have to say the commercial customers, as Tony mentioned, the Amazons, the Googles, et cetera, who are using our Earth intelligence data.
It's awful hard to predict the future in this dynamic industry, but I'm going to ask you to. So where do you see the future of space exploration? I mean, is Mars going to be simple, easy peasy, or where do we go from here, from the moon?
Maxar has been on Mars for over the last 15 years with our robotics capabilities. So we are part of an overall team working on the various new capabilities. And the two primary areas that Maxar focuses on for those missions is, as I discussed earlier, our propulsion capabilities, as well as our robotics. So we have been on Mars with those robotic arms that you've seen in the various Mars rovers, as well as just here a little over a year ago with NASA's InSight mission with a robotic arm there, as well as we're on the Mars 2020 mission with robotics capabilities, as well as to the moon as well. So then you marry that with our software engineering experience, like Mark and a team of PhD level work, as well as folks kids right out of college, to come be part of building the highly reliable, agile development software that we'll be needing because that artificial intelligence is not only applied to our Earth missions, it's also can be applied to roving around on Mars. And it's the astronauts working together with the robots that will ensure a safe and secure mission is accomplished. So that what we're doing is the robot will be doing the dirty and dangerous tasks that and will save time and effort and be more efficient for the astronauts.
You know, Chris, earlier Mark talked about high resolution. He talked about baseball field and a home plate. I'm still thinking about that. So what is the future for this high resolution? How far can it go?
So Maxar currently operates today the world's most complete constellation of satellite reconnaissance capabilities, primarily for our DoD and intelligence community customers. And we can talk more about that in the right classification setting for as you send the resume in. We'll work on getting the clearances for those folks. But what we're doing is what I can say right now is as Mark mentioned, you can get to that level of resolution as well as the breadth. With each year, we get roughly 1 billion square kilometers of information coming in each year from currently. Then next year, or 2021, we'll be launching the next generation of Legion, WorldView Legion satellites. And those satellites will actually, those 6 satellites, those first 6, which will be a series in that constellation, will be bringing a revisit capability to the dangerous places around the world. We'll be able to revisit them over 15 times a day. Which is a great capability, especially when you want to monitor dangerous places in the world. So this is the new capabilities that we're building today for both NASA as well as our DoD and Intel customers.
So when people like Mark are in the field, they can save lives because of the information they get from the services Maxar provides.
Right. And also, too, I need to say, it's also for not just for DoD and Intel, it's also for disaster relief. The folks at FEMA use our imaging, the DHS as well. We have a number of government customers as well as the commercial customers.
Tony, do you want to jump in here?
I just add that for the pieces we've talked about, Legion is going to be our opportunity to connect the dots across all the capabilities of Maxar. So we're building our own spacecraft to support our Earth intelligence missions. And in order to be able to extract insights on the timelines that matter for our mission partners, whether it's in disaster relief, a military operation, or even commercial applications, we have to do that leveraging artificial intelligence and machine learning. And so a lot of the things we're doing to demonstrate what's possible with our existing constellation, Legion's going to be a force multiplier for the mission, and we're really excited about how it's going to bring us together as one Maxar.
Great. I'd like to thank today's guests. Tony Frazier, Executive Vice President for Global Field Operations at Maxar, Chris Schank, Vice President for Civil and National Security Space at Maxar, and Mark Giaconia, Senior Director of Analytics Engineering at Maxar. I'm your moderator, John Gilroy, and you're listening to Federal News Network. For more on this discussion, visit federalnewsnetwork.com and search Maxar.